Hi, this is Mark Graben. Welcome to episode 261 of Lean Blog Audio. Today I'm dipping back into the archives to share something I wrote back in 2013. I published it on LinkedIn and shared it on my blog. And this post came to mind because I interviewed somebody today for my other podcast, Lean Blog Podcast, where I interview people. I talked to Marcus Hammerberg from Sweden, and he'll be in an upcoming episode there. But long story short, he did some work in Indonesia with the hospital there. He said they had a very strong culture of, focusing on, within a very hierarchical culture, the carrot and the stick. And he passed along the idea of, the carrot means you reward people. The stick is that you threaten punishment. That's not really the origin of that expression, as I wrote about in 2013. So that's why I am revisiting that post here. And the headline reads, "The Carrot and the Stick on Steroids." There are a few cliche expressions that I've heard a lot recently at healthcare conferences. Some of these cliches I think really need to be retired, including the phrases carrot and the stick and on steroids. The cliche "on steroids" is usually used in a way that's supposed to have a surprisingly positive connotation. One example I heard recent was basically somebody saying, "Our hospital's emergency department fast track is actually like a fast track on steroids." And I think what the speaker means to say is that the fast track approach there is bigger, better, more effective. What I hear in my own warped mind is them saying, because it's on steroids, the emergency department looks good, but it's prone to fits of rage, acne, and shrunken testicles. I mean, do these speakers not realize, maybe they do, but they forget, that steroids and other performance-enhancing drugs, or PEDs, are no longer glorified in sports and that they have really harmful side effects? I mean, at least people realize the term, when they say on crack, is considered to be a negative expression. People wouldn't say, "Oh, ours is like a fast track on crack." I mean, I think the same should be true with on steroids. I mean, I think we need another pithy expression that means something along the lines of, "Our fast track is like a fast track that dedicates itself to a goal, eats right, and works incredibly hard." I mean, it's easier to say on steroids, but it's a clumsy and inappropriate analogy, especially in a healthcare context. The other phrase I've heard too much of is the carrot and the stick, as in somebody saying there are only two ways to motivate healthcare professionals, the carrot and the stick. Well, first off, I really disagree with that statement, as most employees, especially in healthcare, have a natural intrinsic motivation to do a good job. In an environment where leaders connect people's work to an important mission and work together to remove systemic barriers to doing good work, people will do a good job. We don't need to bribe people through rewards or threaten them with the punishment, the quote-unquote stick. As W. Edwards Deming famously said, we can substitute leadership. Secondly, talking about the carrot and the stick is offensive because the expression was originally used in the context of motivating donkeys. Yes, donkeys. Are your employees donkeys or mules? Well, as I researched the expression, the carrot and the stick, there's an interesting debate about the phrase. Is it carrot and the stick, or is it carrot or the stick? The phrase is most often used, as I mentioned earlier, to mean a reward or a threat. Some say the origin of the phrase was really all about positive motivation, again, for donkeys. They say the role of the stick is not the threat of physical punishment. The stick is used as part of the carrot incentive, because the stick is used to dangle the carrot out in front of the donkey, creating the incentive. Now, hitting donkeys with sticks is probably not the way to get them to move anyway, since I think we've all heard the expression, "stubborn as a mule." Do the park rangers at the Grand Canyon give riders a stick to hit their mules with? Well, I doubt it, nor would I expect carrots to be involved. So back to humans. Even if the carrot and the stick metaphor is all about positive rewards and incentives, there's a lot of great research to show that positive if-then rewards work, but they create dysfunction. And you can see Daniel Pink's outstanding book, Drive, for more on this topic. Let's say I'm a conference organizer and I don't want anybody using the phrase on steroids. Maybe I should try using the carrot and the stick. The carrot or the stick? Well, nah. I guess I'd be a leader and explain why I think the on steroids expression is inappropriate. And I'd hope I could convince speakers to be intrinsically motivated to avoid using this phrase. I mean, could this be more effective than offering them $20 for not using it? You know, would be paid after the speech, or threatening to cut their microphone if they do? Well, I hope you enjoyed today's blog post. You can find a link to what I wrote on LinkedIn by going to leanblog.org/audio261. I hope you enjoy the blog and the different podcasts that I do. You can find more information again by going to leanblog.org.